Okay, so we're going to go into looking at pictures and other types of graphics that we can put into our documents. Okay, so I want to just start out showing you how you can insert the different kinds of graphics. And the way you would do this is you'd position your cursor where you'd like to maybe put the picture or whatever happens to be. You go back into Insert, all right, and you go over here to Pictures, and there we go. All right. Then you want to bring it in. All you do is you find the picture, you double click it, there it goes. If you need to maybe resize it, you want to kind of fit it within the document a little bit better, you can actually just take your mouse and kind of resize it just like that. All right. And then the next major thing you can do is you want to get this picture to allow the text to wrap around it. So while it's still selected, you can actually click onto this little guy here, the layout options. You go over here and click onto this square, and then you can just click that off, and you can actually now see how the text wrapped around it. Once you've done that, you can actually drag it around like that, get it exactly where you like it, and there you go. Now once you've done that, you can also add a caption, a little below kind of description here by just doing a right click on it, telling you that you want to add the caption or insert a caption right here, right? Click onto that. This comes up, and what I would do with this is I just go ahead and hit OK, and then you'll see it come down there, and then you can kind of backspace off that text there, and you can just type in something like Chip and Linda having fun with cake, right? Something like that, and you kind of click away from it, and there you go. So it really doesn't matter too much, where you initially had your cursor, because you're going to move it anyway to a different location. But still, easy thing to do there. Now another thing we'll do here, we'll go back and insert again, and this time we're going to go to the online pictures. Now online pictures is online pictures, and they've got a special thing set up with Bing, and it gives you all these different groups of different kinds of pictures and so forth, and you can actually kind of cruise through that, or you can type in something that you're looking for up here and do it like that. But we'll do this. We'll go here and we'll pick something like beach, and then it gives us all these different beach-like pictures. You can find something that you like. What do we like here? Well, we'll go with this one here. Do that one. We hit insert. Goes right in there, and then once again we can resize it. We can then go to our layout options, have it do that, move it around, and there we go. And you can put a caption on that too if you wanted to, and you probably want to try to resize this enough to where it best fits with what you've got for your information, so maybe something like that. Now another type of thing we have is something called an icon. This is a relatively new feature here. Click onto that, and it gives you just an unbelievable amount of different, flat, black and white type graphics here. And you can find something that you like and click onto it and bring it right in there. So let's see what we'll do here. We'll bring in the bug. All right, so we'll click on that guy there. Hit insert, and there's the bug. And this is a picture like anything else that we've got so far. We can again go back in there and click onto that, for the layout, and click on it here, and there we go. We can kind of move that around. Now, because that one is initially black, we can also, change the color if we wanted to. Now, normally if we're on a picture, then we have the picture tools up here. Same thing with this one here, because this is basically a picture. This is more of a graphic, all right? So we get a little bit different type of a ribbon up here. And one of the things we can do is we can go here to the graphics fill, right? And we can find a different color for the graphic, as you can see there. We can do that. You can go and find more colors if you want, find that exact color that you want. And on this particular one, we can actually have the wrap kind of wrap around the object itself by using this one instead, called the tight. You do that one, and it might not make much of a difference, but you can kind of see it does kind of wrap around a little bit there. Put that over here. Because it doesn't show it too much. We could also go to the outline here, like that, and go with black. Kind of see that kind of wrap around there a little bit. And you can also go in there and make that thicker. So you can go and pick any of these here, see? So kind of interesting stuff there. And you can also, because we've got this rotator on here, we can rotate this as well. All right. Do something like that. And put that up in the corner over here. Have it do something like that. And yet another type of graphic we can put in there is something called a 3D model. And this is a special file type that you'd have with any 3D modeling type program. So we can click on there, and they actually have a number of different 3D models that you can go with. So let's say if we went with the dinosaurs here, right? So I click onto that, and these are all your different dinosaurs, obviously. And then I can take this guy here, click onto him, hit insert. You'll see this change up a little bit. Look at that. So we can actually move it just by doing this. Now right now the graphic is on top of everything, so we can actually kind of point to here and drag it. Look at that. It's phenomenal. So you get them just right. And then if you want to, you can go back into the layout and have it wrap around the square like that. Or you can have it wrap around the object itself with this one here. And then I can take that and move it, anywhere I'd like and do something like that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go back now to a picture. So I'm going to go back into insert here, go back to pictures. I'm going to bring out, let's say this one here. And what I want to do with this now, I'm eventually going to put it, somewhere in the document, but I'm looking at this, and what I want to do is make some changes to it. First of all, I want to kind of trim off part of it and kind of focus in just on my dad here. I want to kind of get rid of the rest of this stuff here, okay? So if I click onto it and go up into my pictures tools here for format, there's an area here called crop. All right. Now what I can do is I can actually click on the crop, and what happens is, and this thing kind of pops up here. It looks a little like a framing system, and what I can do is kind of point right on them and drag it in this way, and this is the part that I'm removing. Okay, so I want to get rid of that part there, let's say, and then up at the top here I want to get rid of that top there. I mean, it's a beautiful picture, but I want to focus in on just my dad here, right? And I'll go ahead and bring this one in over here, and that's it. Now once I'm down to that, then I can go ahead and hit crop again, and now there it is. And then I can take that, and I can go ahead and have the text wrap around the picture. I can even go ahead and make the picture a little bit bigger. It depends on the resolution on the picture, but these are pretty high res, so they turn out pretty good. All right, so now another thing we can do with this is kind of work on the exposure part. It's a little bit bright on his face, probably because of the flash having gone off and all that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and work with the adjustment group here and see if we can kind of fix this up a little bit. So initially, we can click on to corrections, and it gives us a number of different exposures where we have a balance of the brightness and the contrast being set in there. And what we can do is we can go through here and figure out which one would look, the best here. You can sort of, it doesn't really show it too well in the back because I've got that covered up. Let me just do this real quick here. Let me put him just a little bit further down here. We'll kind of focus on that. All right, now, if I go back in there, you can kind of see as we kind of hover over these things, what it's giving us, see? These are way off there, but you get down towards this area here, and you start finding maybe some better ones that are in there. And you might say, well, maybe this one here, or that one. Probably that one there. So we'll do this one here. So we'll click onto that, and there we go. Then if you want to maybe tweak it just a little bit, because, you know, each of those panels were kind of like of a different brightness and contrast, but maybe we wanted something in between two of the panels. So what we can do is go back in there and go all the way down to the bottom here where it says picture correction options. Little panel pops up, okay, and then we can actually see all the different settings that would go into what you had just seen with the panel. So we can actually change the sharpness if we wanted to. Now watch it as I drag this, how it changes that. So if you have a somewhat maybe blurry type picture, you can actually kind of fix it up maybe just with changing the sharpness a little bit. Mine's not anywhere near that problem, so I don't have to worry about it. But the brightness now, same thing with the brightness, I can kind of work with that, see, back and forth. What I can actually do is just use the arrows and get some very good ones here. So I can maybe bring it up maybe a couple of notches like that. Maybe with the contrast, bring that down just a little bit, or even bring it up, who knows. But you just kind of play around with it, and that's all you do. Now another thing we can kind of play around with is the color of the picture. If we click onto here, we got all the different presets. So as we're hovering over, we can go to just complete no saturation of color at all, more of like a black and white or a sepia type picture. And we can kind of see how that changes as we go along here. Say a little too much on a lot of them, but you kind of go back and forth and you say, okay, well, you know, maybe something like that would be good. All right. You can also go down here and completely change it. Make it look like he's from Mars or something here. There we go. So we can also make it just black and white. That doesn't look too good there. And we've got the washout and a number of different ones here. So pretty kind of interesting how you can do all of these things. Now, if maybe you find one that looks okay, let's say we go with that one there, all right? You can also go into your panel here, and on the side there you'll see the picture color, and I can pull that down just a little bit, and we can see the saturation in here. So if I start bringing that saturation up, you can see how it really kind of changes. It's kind of like when you get so those advertisements in the mail about taking care of your lawn, and the lawn is just an emerald green. It's like, my God, it's wonderful looking. And then, you know, you find out that they probably went in there and touched up the color, you know, using this here. So you got those kind of things to work with as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Now I'm going to go over to this next picture over here, and we're going to look at doing some other things with it. So in this situation, might be what we could do is go to something called artistic effects. And this is where, as you hover, you can get different kinds of look. We've got the marker look. You got all the, you know, the pencil look. Kind of interesting. I like that one with the sponge. And then you can do this one. It kind of looks like it's going through glass. You even have the neon look. Look at that thing. So, got them all in here. Watercolor or cutout, whatever. Cement. There's a cement look. So, a lot of different ones in there. Now, if you find one that you sort of like, let's say we pick this one here, we can also go back in there again and go down to where it says Artistic Effects Options, and that'll pop open the panel again. And then what we'll do is we'll go back up to where the picture's at there. There it is there. And down towards the bottom here, we've got the artistic effects, and we can actually change the scaling on here. You can kind of see how that kind of changes that part. So, and then we got the transparency, which kind of lightens it up, or makes it transparent. I mean, I'm sorry. And you can go back a little bit like that there too. So, kind of interesting in that regard. So, not bad. Now, if you end up, really messing up your picture, like let's say this one here, and you just want to take it back to where it was before, you can always just hit the undo a bunch of times. But let's just say you made these changes, you saved the document, and now you came back and you say, oh, I really messed that up. Well, you don't have any undos to do. So, or undos, you don't have any do's to undo because it's all been lost when you went to save it. So we have this little button right here, which is the reset picture. You click onto there, and it's got the reset picture. Right now, if you had changed the size and all that, and you want to get that back as well, you can go with the reset picture and size. But we just want to reset just the what we had done to it. So I click onto that, and it takes us right back to where we were. Now we can also put picture borders around, or borders around our pictures, I should say. You go and click on this one here. We go over here to the picture effects, and we've got some preset things like this, where it kind of gives it like a bevel look, or just all these different ones are pretty cool things there. We got those, all right. You can go with shadowing. You can put like shadows, make it look like the picture is kind of like just raised off the surface a little bit with light, shining on it. And you can do that kind of thing. Now, if you picked one of these, what you could also do is you can actually go down to where it says shadow options, all right? And that takes you to here. And this is where you can actually, specify the color of the shadow. Let's say you want to go with maybe this darker gray here, all right? You kind of see it in there now. And then you can actually go here and create like a blur for it. I don't know if you can see that too much there. We'll do the distance here. So got that, and we got the angle. Kind of put it like that if we want to. And you get it just right, and then you can, just go from there. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, I'll show you another one here. If we go with we'll go on this one here. You can actually go here to the border, and we can say, okay, we want to go with let's say a red border going around it. And then we can also then tell it that we want the thickness of that border to be something like that. Or go back down here to the picture effects and go further with maybe a glow, something like that. So a lot of different things you can do to it. They also have preset ones as well. So I can click on, let's say, my dad down here, hit the drop down there, and I've got all these here. So as I hover over these, you can kind of see how they change. Let me just scroll up here a little bit. And you can see a change. There's a shadow, and oh, there's a reflection. It got too big, so it went to the next page. I think that's kind of cool with the soft edge and so forth. So you got all those as well. So you might go with something like that, click it, and there you go. That's that's a pretty classy look there. Okay, so let's now move on to shapes that we can draw, and I'll do a few here for you. If you go into the Insert tab, you'll have shapes here, and there's a number of different categories of them. We're going to start out with a very simple one, just a plain old what they call line arrow. Okay, so you click onto that, you get like a a bullseye or crosshair or whatever, and what you'll do is you'll draw the arrow by holding down the mouse and dragging it in a particular direction, and the direction you drag it to is the side that's going to have the arrow tip. So watch this. So take this right here. I'll start about right there, and I'll just kind of drag it like this, right to there. Let's say, let go, and that's it. Now you can't really see it right now. I'm going to change the color and all, but what you do then is you can go ahead and click onto this. All right. And then up here you'll have your drawing tools pop up, and you'll have format. And in this case, I'm going to go over here to the shape outline. I'm going to give it a much larger size. I'll do that first. And then I'm going to go in and give it a different color. So maybe I'll go with maybe red. So I'll click onto that. That looks pretty good. And then I can also go in there and change the dashes. I can make it dashed, dotted, whatever, or something like that. I can also go back in there again and make it even bigger if I wanted to with the weight. And I can do like this one here. Now I can move the arrow just by getting on it somewhere like that where I get the crosshair. I can kind of drag it like that. If I want to change the angle, I can either drag from this end and drag it down like that, and I can also shorten it up or make it longer that way. And then I can also go at the arrow tip end and point that right in there. Okay, right in the head. Okay, all right, it's pretty cool. And then we'll go to another one here. Go in the shapes here. We've got something towards the bottom here. Kind of looks like an explosion here. This guy here, and it's called an explosion. So you click that. Now watch this. I go ahead and I just kind of point right here, hold down the mouse, and I just kind of drag it, and it creates it as I drag it. See? Then I can take that. I can rotate it immediately if I wanted to. Do that. I can actually click into it and say something like, let's say like great, and then enter key, and then job, exclamation there. I can then double click it or click it and just kind of drag it, I guess. And go to home. I can make it bold, make it a little bit bigger, that type of thing. And then as I rotate it, that kind of goes along with it there. That's pretty nice. Now, I can also, while I'm on it, let me just click back on it here. While I'm on it there, when I click the frame itself, so the whole thing is now selected. I'm not. So you want to make sure you're not in it like that, because that's not going to let you do much changes. But if I click there, then I'm set. Now, what I want to do here is go to Format, and I've got my shape fill right here, and I can go with like different gradients, have it kind of look like that, or I can go to Picture, and I'll go dig up a picture here, maybe this one here, and there it is, great job. And then I can rotate that around, and then I can then move it to where I'd like. And also you have the layout options on this one, so I can click there and tell it that I want to have the text kind of wrap around it. So now if I move it around, you can kind of see how it goes around it there. Probably put that up in the corner, that'd be a good spot. And there we go. So, kind of interesting. I'll move that out of the way. I'm going to do another one here now. Do that over here somewhere. All right. I want to do another one. There's another one called the call out. It kind of looks like what you see when you're reading a cartoon. You see like the bubble pop up and it's them talking. That's what that is. So I go back here to Insert, go to my shapes, go down towards the bottom here. I'll click on this one right here, the thought bubble cloud. So I'll click on that, and I'll just maybe start like right here, drag it like that, and then I can move it till it'll be right like there. I'm going to type something like, who is this? I'm married, in a frightened tone. All right, and then I can select that, go back into Home, make it a little bit bigger. There we go, something like that. And again, this can be rotated as well. I think it is right. There it is. Now I got one more for you, and this is for some of you that write instruction type manuals, and maybe you're creating a manual for some software that you have, or that you use, or it could be for anything really. And what you want to do is you want to get screenshots of that software, okay, and kind of show it, so when somebody is like doing something, they can kind of see where they should be at, because you'll have pictures of it, in the instructions. So, give me an example here. We have a tool, and it's built into Windows, and it's called the snipping tool. Now, the new version of it is called the snip and sketch, and the only difference there is it lets you kind of sketch on the picture that you've taken of the software screen or whatever it happens to be. So I'll show you how this works. I'm going to bring up the command here. So first of all, what I'm going to do is, let's just say that we want to do something along the lines of something with Microsoft Word here, okay? And so there it is. We've got the maybe the design tab here, and we've got this ribbon up here, right? And we want to show that ribbon, or part of that ribbon, in our documentation, all right? Because we're going to be kind of referring to it. So what we do is we launch the snipping tool. Now, you'll find the snipping tool in your start menu, and you just go look in there, and you'll see it. And if you don't have the snipping tool, then what you'll have is the snip and sketch. All right, but I'm gonna start with the snipping tool. So let me show that to you one more time. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to minimize this, all right? Let's just say that I want to get a snapshot of this part here with the windmill and the house, right? So again, I'll go back and click onto my snippet tool, all right? So I'm doing that right now. I click onto that. This opens up, and I'm just going to click on to, now it's already in the rectangular snip mode, so I'll just click on to new. It does that, and then what I'll do is I'll just kind of do something like this. And let go, and that's it. Perfect. Then I can just close it, and then I bring back the file, my document here that I've been working on. There it is. And let me move down here a little bit. So I'll go down here, right click, there's my picture. Perfect. I mean, it's great resolution. That's a great tool to use if you're on the internet and there's a picture that you want to save, and usually you can just right click the picture and tell it that you want to save it as a picture. Sometimes the web page keeps you from doing that, but it doesn't keep you from doing this that we just did there. So just keep that one in mind. But anyway, so you do that, and then you go ahead and, have it wrap, and there we go. There's our little picture. Hang it off the margin a little bit there. All right, not bad. The program has its own little, they call it a screen snapshot, but it's really goofy because here it is, right? So you have to have this on the screen to do it. So I go in here and I say, okay, I want to do a screen clip, all right? So then it goes away, all right? And it's like, well, what if I wanted to take a snapshot of what was there, So it means what you have to do is make sure that you have running behind the program is the document or the program, whatever that you want to, go up there and take a little snip of, and then, you go from there. But it's just, it's too awkward to work with. The snipping tool is much better, much easier to work. Now, one last thing, and I'll let you guys go. If you go to insert, there's a choice here called online video. So this would be good when you want to insert a link to, let's say, a YouTube video that when they're looking at this document on the screen, they can click onto and play the video. Obviously, they're not going to be able to play it on a piece of paper that you print out. So in any event, though, here's what you do, is you go to Insert, you go to Online Video, and here is where you'd either go and search for, you know, a YouTube video that you know of, or what you do, let me just show you real quick here. You go out and you find your video, whatever happens to be here, okay? Let's say this one here. And what you can do is you hit share, all right? And then you get this guy right here, okay? This is the address to the YouTube video. You click on the copy. That's all you got to do, all right? And then you come back, and we can just get rid of this. And then what you can do is go to here, right-click, and paste that in there. Now, once you've done that, that should come up pretty soon here. Yeah, so you just kind of click that little thing there, and then this will pop up here. And then what you do is you choose it, just like that. Click on Insert, and it puts it in there for you. And then what you can do is you can go ahead and resize it. You can wrap it, and that's it. So now when somebody has this on screen, all they have to do is click right here, and then they click onto here, and then...
Hi, I'm Mark with ComputerSoftwareTraining.com. Hey, I don't know about you, but the very thought of attending a software training class far away from the office in some strange location just makes me a little sad. Wouldn't it be nice if you could attend a software training class right from your own office without having to go anywhere, without the travel, navigating traffic, parking, bad coffee, finding lunch, being away from the office all day?
You get the idea. All right. So that's it, you guys. So hopefully that all this kind of helps you. That you know, I've given you pretty much everything you can probably pretty much do with your graphics here, and you know, pictures and whatever else. So hopefully this is something you guys can use. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.